Well, happy Friday. You know what that means. It's time for another update on my journey to owning my own comic book shop. But before we get into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification so you don't miss any future updates or episodes. I'm going to do things a little bit differently this week. Last week I mentioned I was able to actually be on the Gary Vee show. I did a live Q&A with him on LinkedIn, and they did send me a copy of that video, and I'm going to be sharing that with you because I really want to share that experience of being able to talk to Gary Vee, and I think it would add value if you are maybe thinking about starting your own business or anything like that. It is a little bit different from my normal content, but I thought it would be a great thing to share with all of you, and it was an experience that really meant a lot to me. So that's going to be coming up next, and if you stick around to the end, I'm going to have a couple of quick updates to share with y'all about the journey.
And our first guest is Joel, aka GI Joel, the founder of GTX Comics. I would love to welcome you up.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Pleasure to meet you, Michelle and Gary. Gary, big fan, been listening to you for years.
Thank you.
So a little bit about myself, I go by the GI Joel with my followers and community. And in January of this year of 2021, I left my full-time job in retail banking to pursue my dream of being a full-time content creator and owning my own comic book shop. So I've been doing that, building my business primarily on TikTok, but now I've branched out to other platforms. But I'm a first-time business owner. I've never done anything like this before. I came from the retail finance background, and before that, I was in the military. So it's a very new world for me. But it's exciting. Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, first of all, I think your mustache alone gives you a substantial chance for business success. So
Thank you.
What can we answer for you? I told great context. Maybe there's a first-time founder, but both the corporate and the military experience will play out. You will see nuances of how to do things and how not to do things.
Yeah.
But would love to see if we can answer something for you.
Yeah. So, one of the first things that I've kind of wondered is as I grow my audience and everything and kind of get more into like what kind of content I enjoy making, how do you deepen the relationship and build trust with followers enough to get them to cross a paywall for, say, more exclusive content, like a private book club, as it were, or something, or a curated kind of reading experience that they can come along with me versus just continuing to put out the free content, have something that also can monetize in that way?
I'll take a stab at this. This is something that I spent a lot of years on talking about. I think give 200 times more for free than you were thinking, and make the thing that you're making them pay for 10 times more access to you than you were thinking. I'm going to say it one more time. Give 200%. So many people are quick to monetize premium content that what they end up doing is hurting their free content. As you probably know, there's not a lot of people on earth over the last decade that have gone as far as I've gone with free content. I sometimes see a thing in the marketplace, NFTs, and I'm in market giving away my stuff before I've even gobbled up stuff for because I'm obsessed, because I'm in this mindset. Number two, one, I see a lot of people half-ass their stuff because they can't wait the good stuff's behind the paywall. This is me just using you as a funnel, right?
Yeah.
So you give your best stuff, best stuff for free, and lots of it, access. The one thing I can't do, no matter how fucking epic I am and how much legacy I want to leave.
I can't duplicate you, Gary. I know what you're going to say right now. There's only one of you.
Even look what's happening with GI Joel right now, right? He's watched my content for some period of time, consumed with the amount I put out, probably a solid amount. And here in 4 minutes, I can give him so much more. And that's what you can do, Joel, for your audience.
I got you.
You could talk about Spider-Man and Spider-Woman and Hulk and Wolverine and Spawn and Valiant's demise, which still hurts for me with Bloodshot and all that stuff. You talk about all that stuff, but at the end of the day, the one-on-one is where it is. So think about your access and how do you make that epic access, virtual and physical, right? Maybe it's once a week for this book club for an hour that nobody else can get into, but it's maybe once every 2 months. Close the comic book store and they can come in, they can fly from wherever and really chop it up and have a trading night just with that community. Access.
Okay. Access. That's good.
That I love that. I'm going to keep those ratios for a long time. So 200 times more. So the other thing I think is changing your mind frame around what free is, because free often seems like, oh, it's a gift or I'm not making money on it. Like free is your learning environment where you're seeing exactly what users like, exactly what they're responding to, what makes them excited. You know, Gary, it was like, I love that blueberry video. Do you remember this one where you're like, I don't have
I eat blueberries like it's my job.
Well, also like my favorite fruit is blueberries. So like it very much resonated with me. But like trying all of these different things and seeing what people like and seeing what brings people back and what you know, the amount of time people spend on doing things, right? It's not free, it's your learning environment. And so making sure you have the metrics to track all of that, giving away more content, and then largely using access. I like that suggestion from Gary.
Awesome. So access would be key, making something a more personal experience to go along with all the free content is kind of what you're getting at. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, my next question is, you know, when it comes to comic books, and especially for like new readers, there tends to be like a bit of a learning curve when it comes to like order cutoffs and pre-ordering. And a lot of people, they don't know where to even begin because there's, you know, 100+ years of content for comic books out there. What type of top of funnel things can I do to help lower that learning curve to make it more accessible to someone who just came out of the movie theater and now wants to read, kind of a thing?
By making 101 content. It's what I did with NFTs for 3 months. NFTs for dummies. NFT 101. How to buy Ethereum. How to download a MetaMask, right?
Yeah.
You know, literally make 5. This is where people get confused. I've made the same content 16,000 times. I've made how do you buy a good comic from a superhero movie you just loved? So that would be one, very literal. Then I would make how to buy Black Panther #1. And I would make Hulk's first appearance, right? You know, and then Wolverine's first appearance at Hulk, and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
You just make 101 content at scale, and you think in terms of search query. I think Quora is very interesting. Site a lot of people don't talk about, answering a ton of questions on Quora, where people go quite a bit, believe it or not, sneaky little spot. But think in YouTube videos, you know, you make 101 videos on YouTube and then run ads of those videos on pre-roll on superhero movie content, you might find some really big upside there.
Okay.
And if you make the video, you got to then be good at the content, right? Is the video starts with, did you just see Black Panther and want to buy Black Panther #1? So you got to get them in that first 2 seconds.
Yeah. That's definitely something I've been working on, is trying to get feedback from people. Like, what are they wanting to read? What are they looking to buy?
Joe, can I say something to you that is going to help? And a lot of people that are watching? I made thousands of pieces of content before anybody even began to give a shit. Everybody sees me now.
Yeah.
They weren't there in 2006 when I replied to every tweet and 7 of every tweet about wine. And 99% didn't even reply. People would be like, going to Napa. And I jump into the content. And be like, you got to check out Whitehall Lane Sauvignon Blanc. And they wouldn't even reply to that.
Yeah.
Bricks.
Yeah, and I do try to do that specifically, like on TikTok. You know, I your 2 cents method, Gary, that you've talked about before and other things. I do that. I talk to every single person I see in a comment section. Hey, this is where you start. This is a list.
By the way, it's probably it's why you've had the audacity to go full time. You're building momentum.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, because you know your audience is there.
Yeah, they are. So that's question. My next question. And this is something that I've more so thought of on like a personal basis, or kind of just like how I'm interpreting things. You know, everyone talks about, you know, entrepreneurship and everything like that. And I don't necessarily view what I'm doing as entrepreneurship. I view myself as a small business owner. I'm not trying to change the game. Semantics. I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
And to your point, don't let the manipulation of entrepreneurship confuse you. You were about to say, I'm not thinking about changing the game. Entrepreneurship is about living your life based on the business you want to run. And I think you may know this, like I try to talk a lot more about the person that makes $137,000 a year revenue, keeps 70,000 of it, and lives their life in a $70,000 salary range, and are pigs in shit because they're selling, keychains, comics, honey, tea. And I think those are the real entrepreneurs in a lot of ways, not the one who are just, like trying to play the part on Instagram. And so I think you're into semantics.
I gotcha.
By the way, little fun fact, I've been like trying to work on some soft tissue work, and I've been randomly just using this Spider-Man. I thought that was kind of weird.
Very
fun.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I only have one more question, and I'm going to shoot my shot here. Gary, I have never interviewed someone on my YouTube channel. People are not talking about NFTs in the comic book collecting space. I would love to take 9 to 12 minutes of your time to talk to you about NFTs.
That's very smart what you just did right there.
On comic books.
I'm in for 9 minutes in January. Email Gary@VaynerMedia.com.
Awesome.
Put 9 minutes in January, and you've got me.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it so much.
I love what you did there at the end. Everybody.
I told you I listen to you all the time. I know how to talk to you.
Yeah, there you go. You got
a lot. I don't have 45 minutes for G.I. Joel's podcast. I do it occasionally because I'm intuitive. I subconsciously and consciously want to give back to the game, but I'm in a shit spot.
Yeah.
Like I'm dropping balls left and right now because I just don't have enough hours in the day. Mm-hmm. And I was very prepared to say, I appreciate you. Maybe somebody here who's watching, maybe Michelle wants to, but I don't want to promise you, G.I. Joel. Can you ask me again in March? That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
And then you dropped me with the 9 minutes.
9 minutes, yeah.
And my point is to the people that people want on their podcasts that will help build up the profile of their podcasts, you really only need them for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? If you get somebody fancy to show up for 5 minutes, you still get to put them in the title. You still get to put them in the thumbnail, and you're going to get a fuckload more yeses.
Yeah. The other good technique I have for getting the attention of people you might want to get the attention to is when they write books. Everyone cares about how far away they are from the bestseller list. And so if you can tell them you're going to buy a certain amount of books, that gets people's attention in a way that often doesn't. So that's my other trick.
No, that's great. Well, talk to a lot of comic book writers, so
there you go. Well, you can say, look, I'm going to sell you this many comics or this many books. I mean, that's a friggin' game changer.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to both of you. Really appreciate it.
Stay well, brother.
All right. Well, that was my time with Gary Vee. And as I had mentioned in that video, I asked him to come on to my YouTube channel here to do an interview with me about NFTs and their place in the comic book collecting community. And we do have that scheduled to be January 19th. So really excited to get a couple of minutes of his time to discuss something that I think is very important to the future of comic book collecting. So with that announcement, I have 2 more announcements. I am going to be starting a new series. I don't really have a schedule for it yet. It might be about once a week. Where I'm just going to do like comic book shop talk. I'm going to share a thing about NFTs, possibly interview other creators, hopefully get some writers or some artists on here. I do have some connections with some different comic book artists and stuff. So I do plan on bringing them on and interviewing them and just being able to talk about comic books and the industry and things like that. So that's going to be a new series that I'm going to be starting relatively soon. I'm going to start off by explaining NFTs so that when Gary Vee does come onto the channel, all of y'all will have some background as to what he does, what an NFT is, and kind of his place in them, and get some background and some information on them. So hopefully it adds a good amount of value. The second announcement is I am now an affiliate for BCW Supplies. So if you head to bcwsupplies.com and use the code GIJOEL, you will get 10% off your first order with them. I use BCW for all of my bags and boards, my boxes, a lot of my collecting needs. If you collect action figures, trading cards, comic books, I have everything that you need to kind of protect your collection and store it for long periods to prevent it from getting damaged. So yeah, really excited. The link is down in the description below on my link tree, as well as at the link in my About Me section and everything. So be sure to check them out and check out BCW Supplies today. But that is it for this Friday. A little bit different episode, like I said. Sound off in the comments. Let me know how your week has been going. What are you going to be getting up to this weekend? I would love to talk with y'all. And thank you so much for being a part of this journey. Now be sure to hit that subscribe button, bell notification so you don't miss any future episodes. And I'll see you later.